Now we are going to see another two important measures, which is EAC and ETC. Okay, EAC and ETC. Okay, what is EAC? Estimate at complete. What is ETC? Estimate to complete. Okay, estimate at complete and estimate to complete. So you can actually say estimate to complete the remaining work. This is how you have to read. This is hidden. Okay, estimate to complete the remaining work. That's the meaning of this estimate to complete. Okay, now so let's say your present project is something like this. Okay, so let's say your present projects have a performance like this one. So you have this budgeted complete. So on a particular date, this is your status date. On this particular date, you understand that your earned value is less and your planned value and actual cost are more than the earned value. Okay, so what does it mean? You are not doing good either in terms of budget or in terms of schedule. You're behind the schedule and you have a cost overrun. Okay, so that's the meaning of this graph, right? So if your project is performing in this way, you know, at what estimate, I mean, at what how much it would take for you to complete the rest of the work. Okay, so this is your status date. Okay, this is your status date. On this particular date you have completed this much of work. What is your earned value? Or your earned value tells you how much work you have accomplished, right? So this work you have accomplished, but to accomplish this work, okay, how much cost you have taken? You have taken this much of cost. Your work is here, but your cost is this much, right? So now you have to find out how much it would take, okay, to finish rest of the work, the remaining work. Okay, how much it would complete to accomplish the remaining work, right? So that amount is called as ETC. What is ETC? So you have some, let's say I'm extrapolating this. I'm extrapolating this one. Okay, the curve can be this, or the curve can be this, or the curve can be this. The curve can be anywhere, right? So I'm just using for an example, uh, I'm extrapolating this curve. Okay, so this money, okay, this money required, what is this money called as? Okay, this money is the estimate to complete the remaining work. Estimate, this is called as ETC. Okay, what is ETC? Estimate to complete the remaining work. Now then, what is EAC? EAC is the money that you have already spent plus the estimate to complete the remaining work. What do you mean by the money that you have already spent? How do you call it? The money that you have already spent.
Cost to date.
Hmm? The money that you spent.
Cost to date.
No.
Up to that black line.
Yeah, what is that called as? AC. What is this called as? AC, right? So actual cost means what? The money that you have already spent, correct? So the money that you have already spent and the money that you require to complete rest of the work, what is that called as? ETC. Okay, together is called as EAC. Together is called as EAC. So this is the total money that you have spent totally for your project. You understand? This is the total money that you would probably be spending at the end of your project. You get that? So what is AC? AC means money spent as of now in the sense as on the status date. Okay, so money spent as on status date. You have not completed your project yet, correct? You are measuring on some date to date in the sense, as you rightly said, like, on a particular date on which you are measuring, right? Whereas ETC is the forecasted money, right? This is forecast, correct? The forecasted or assumed money that you would probably be spending, you would probably spending spending for what? Spending for the remaining work, for the remaining work. That's more important. The word remaining work is more important. Okay, not for the whole of the work, for the remaining work, correct? So if someone asks you, okay, fine, in that case, what is the total money you would have spent at the end of the project? What is the total money you would have spent at the end of the project? So they are asking you EAC. Okay, so what is EAC? EAC is the total money that you would have, or you would, okay, that spend you would spend at the end of, I don't know, it's very difficult to write, at the end of project, keeping your progress in mind. Okay, keep your not your estimate. Okay, not your original estimate, keeping your present progress in mind. So your present progress shows you some EV, some AC. So keeping that progress in mind, what did you do? You are identifying what is the money that you have spent at the end of your project. In other words, EAC is equal to EAC is equal to AC plus ETC. Yes or no? So look here. So this portion, okay, this portion AC, okay, plus your ETC, it is only giving you what? EAC, correct? So if you forecast the ETC, then you will add that ETC with your EAC, which is your actual cost, and then what would you get? You would get EAC. You understand? Yes or no? Till this, we have to see how do we find out ETC. Okay, that we will do it. Okay, but as of now, is it okay? Everyone with me? Hello? Trying to understand? You want some time or what? Hassan says yes. Anybody else? Or you want some repetition? You want me to repeat it? Let me know. No response. So is that a yes?
Okay.
Fine. All right. Now now let us see. I'm going to ask you a question. Okay. I want a formula for, you know everything, you know, as of now, you know all the concept, okay? But I want you to tell me in a formula format, okay? The formula for remaining work, okay? I want a formula for remaining work. And I want a formula for remaining money or remaining fund. You know what is AC, you know what is EV, you know what is PV. Correct? You know what is BAC. Correct? You know what is EAC. Right? So, given this characters, okay, tell me how would you put in formula, okay, the formula for remaining work. Remaining work is equal to what? What do you mean by remaining work? From the total work, if we subtract the performed work, you get remaining work. Correct? From the overall work, if you subtract the performed work, you get remaining work, right? So what is the term for overall work and what is the term for performed work? Afish, no, that's not right. Try think over and try, Afish. Do you understand what is remaining work logically? The overall work minus work performed. Abhijit got it right, right? So BAC minus EV. Yes. So what is remaining work? So remaining work can be written as uh, BAC minus EV. Why? Because BAC is your the total work. Okay, the total work. What is BAC? The budget for the total work scheduled, right? So that's the total budget. Whereas EV is what? The work performed, right? This is the cost, budgeted cost for the work. This is the value of the work performed, right? So look at our first problem. Okay, here the third day problem, right? So what is the remaining work? How much is the work remaining here? On the third day, you have completed 2 by 3 work, correct? So what is the work remaining? Rosen, how much is the work remaining? Yeah, tell me, Hassan, tell me uh, in dollar value.
500.
500, correct. So what did you do? What was the budgeted complete here? It was 1500. So how much was the uh, uh, earned value? Earned value was 1000, right? Earned value was 1000. So earned value is nothing but what? The value of the work performed, correct? So you got how much? 500. So 500 is the remaining work. Correct. It is the remaining work. You understand? Right. Now tell me what is the formula for, are we all okay? BAC minus EV can be called as what? The remaining work. Are we all clear? Because this is more important for forecasting. Okay. In order to forecast, we require to understand what is remaining work. Afish, you okay? Fine. So, so what? How do you put it in a formula? The 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 formula for remaining fund. How much money is remaining? How do you put that? From this problem only, you can tell me. Hassan says EAC minus AC. No, very small mistake. Sarah, can you try? What is? How do you find out remaining fund? BAC minus AC, ask Safish. Yes, absolutely. Right? So why do we have to, we don't even know what is EAC, right? So what is remaining fund? The money which is already spent on the total money, right? So from the total money, if you subtract the money spent, that's your remaining fund, correct? So in this case, how much money is remaining? 1500 is the total budget, out of which you have spent how much? 1350, correct? Yes or no? So that money, 150, right? 150 is remaining, right? So 150 is your, so 1500 minus 1350. So 150 dollar is only remaining. So this is called as what? Remaining fund. You get this point? Now, why do I say this? I mean, this is nothing to do, I mean, there's no specific uh, name for this. This is simply called remaining work and remaining fund. But this remaining work, remaining fund will help us for forecasting. Okay. So remaining work is equal to BAC minus EV, whereas remaining fund is equal to BAC minus AC. Okay. You get it? Fine. Now, now let's go and forecast. Okay. So what do you mean by forecasting? So we are going to find out EAC. Okay. So if we find ETC, then we can find EAC, correct? So if we find ETC, then we just add it with actual cost, then we can get what? EAC. What is estimated complete? What is the total money you would probably end up with? Okay, so that's estimated complete. So if I know ETC, then I can forecast, because this is already known. EAC part is already known. This is your actual, but this part is only, ETC is only like you are going to assume. Okay, you are going to do some calculation to do this forecasting, right? So if you do this part, the ETC part, then you have to simply add it, correct? So how do we, what are the different ways of finding ETC? Okay, you can call it ETC or you can call EAC, okay, whatever. So in order to find ETC, now we are going to have several assumptions. We are going to have several assumptions. So assumption number, so in this side we'll put etc formula and this side we'll put EAC formula, which is just addition of EAC, AC, right? So assumption number one, you assume that, usually what do we assume? I'll go in the same fashion. Okay, I'll go in the same percentage. Do every one of you know the cricket, or is anyone who doesn't know like how the cricket is played? If everyone knows cricket, then I can use this cricket example, otherwise we can't. Anybody who doesn't know the rule of cricket? Hassan do not know cricket. Okay, no worries. Fine. So what is etc? etc is like, you're trying to find out you're trying to find out what is the money which is required to complete rest of the work, okay, the remaining work. Okay, so you, let's say you're assuming that you will do the rest of the work you will do the rest of the work in the same way. For example, in our project, like in this graph, we have spent more, right? Your actual cost is kind of more than your earned value, right? So which means you have less than your CPI is less than 1, correct? So for example, let's say your CPI is 0.8 or your CPI is 0.7 whatsoever, okay, less than 1. So assume your CPI is 0.8. Okay, so if you go in the same way, okay, if you go in the same way, in the sense you're going to spend the money which is going to be greater for the rest of your work also, okay. So in that case you're just extrapolating. So what have I done here? I have just extrapolated, right? Which means I have assumed that you will go in the same fashion. Okay, so in this case, what are you assuming? Your present CPI will be the CPI for the rest of the work. That's the meaning of it, right? Your present CPI is the CPI for the rest of the work. Okay, so that's your first assumption. Assumption number one, you will continue the present rate. Continue the present performance, or you can call present rate whatsoever. Okay, so in this case, etc is equal to what is the remaining work? The remaining work is BAC minus EV, right? BAC minus EV is your remaining work, correct? This is your remaining work. So the remaining work will be done at what rate? At the present rate of CPI. At the present rate of CPI. That's the meaning. Okay. So for the first assumption, what is the ETC formula? ETC formula is equal to BAC minus EV. This is your remaining work divided by CPI. You get it? All right. Now, how do you, then what is your EAC? EAC is just add a actual cost to it. Okay, because EAC is what? Actual cost plus ETC, correct? So just add an actual cost to it. So for the first scenario, what is EAC? EAC is equal to AC plus BAC minus EV divided by CPI. Okay, just adding an AC to it. You understand? Yes or no? Okay, so I'll give you the same problem. Okay, so you have 3 days of work. You have 3 days of work, which is 1, 2, 3, 500, 500, 500. So second day you are measuring the progress. Your status date is second day. Okay, so on the second day, you have completed 50% of work, 50% of work over. And how much spent money? 800, no, we said, right? 800 spent. Okay, can you calculate the ETC? Can you calculate the ETC? So in ETC, what are you going to assume? For another 500%, for another 50% also, I will go in the same rate of spending. I'll go in the same rate of spending. So what first you have to, what you have to find out? You have to find out the EV. We have to find out the PV. You have to find out AC, and then you have to find out CPI. Okay, SPI is not required for this one. Okay, because you don't consider your schedule performance. You're only considering your cost performance. You get that? So find out the CPI and then find out this formula. Find out this one as quick as possible, please. Done? What do you mean by 800, Hassan? 800 for the rest of the work? Yes, obviously, right? Because for the first 50 percentage you have spent 800. So you're assuming for the rest 50 percentage also, what would you do? You need not even have to do any calculation. Okay, 800 you will spend, correct? So, but if we calculate, how do we get it? So the ETC is equal to, how much is the BAC? BAC is 1000, right? Oh, no, sorry, for a whole thing, 1500 minus how much is the EV? 50%. 50% is 750, right? 750.
750.
Yeah, divided by what is CPI? 0.93, yeah, 0.9375. Okay, better to have like 4 precision values. If you have 4 precision values, you'll get correct number. Okay, if you round it off, you will get little bit different. Okay, so how much is this? 800, correct? So for first 50 percentage also you spent 800. So similar rate only you will do for rest of the work. Okay, so that's the meaning. So if this is the case, what is your EAC? So how much money totally you would have spent at the end of the work? 1600, correct? So already I've spent another 1800, and for the rest of the work also this value is how much? 800. So finally how much, instead of finishing it in 1500, you should have spent how much? You would have spent how much? 1600 if you go in the present rate, correct? Actually there is another easy way of calculating EAC. Okay, okay, how can you calculate EAC another way? There is another formula for this, for the same scenario. Okay, instead of dividing it into two pieces, here what are you doing? You're dividing it into two pieces. Like this is your present, AC is your present money spent, and this part, okay, this part is BAC minus EV by CPI. This part is the money that you would be spending for the rest of the work. Okay, but anyway both of them, for the already finished work and for the remaining work, both you are doing at the same rate, right? You are doing at the same rate. So why you have to break it into pieces? You can just calculate it as BAC by CPI. So can you tell me, you will get the same number, BAC by CPI, which is 1500 by 0.9375. Huh? You get the same number? Correct? So you'll get the same number, 1600. You get it? So this way also you can do. So in your examination, when they tell you that what is the estimate at complete, when you perform your work at the same rate, or you would continue to perform in the same rate, provided your budget is this much, your CPI is this much. Okay, so they would have not even given actual cost, earned value, nothing. They have given only two numbers, BAC and CPA, so directly you can calculate. But in the examination, if they don't ask you EAC, but they are asking for ETC. Okay, they are asking for the remaining work alone, not for the total work. Okay, so in that case, what you require one more information, which is your earned value. Okay, sometimes they may not give earned value directly, they may give some indirect values. From there you have to first find out EV, and then you have to find out the ETC. Okay, I'll give you problems anyway. Okay, so are we understanding this first scenario? Are we clear with the first scenario? Shall I go to the next scenario? Scenario number 2. Okay, I think everyone are clear, right? Mustafa, Afish, Abhijit, Sajeev, Sarah, Rosan, everyone. Charles. Okay, so scenario number 2. In the first scenario, what did you assume? You assume that for the rest of the work, I'll go in the same rate of cost performance. Correct? Now, in the first scenario, you did not account in the schedule performance, right? What if you would go bad in schedule also, you would go bad in cost also. You will have the same cost performance also, and you will have the same schedule performance also. So what if that condition continues, right? So that's your second scenario. Okay, so second scenario says that, okay, scenario number 2, you go as per the present rate. Okay, it is as per the present rate, but what, consider both CPI and SPI. Consider both CPI and SPI. It's very difficult to write. Some synchronizing problem is there. Okay, both SPI, CPI and SPI. Okay, so in that case, it's very easy. Okay, here instead of CPI, in this formula, instead of CPI, you just add SPI also. Not add, in the sense multiply SPI also. Okay, so that's all. So what will be the formula in for the second scenario? ETC is equal to remaining work, which is BAC minus EV. This is your remaining work. The remaining work will be done at the present rate of cost performance, not only the cost performance but also schedule performance. So multiply it with SPI. Okay. So what will be your EAC formula in this case? It's the same thing, right? So you just add AC to it. Okay. So AC plus BAC minus EV divided by CPI into SPI. Okay, but you see, like the last formula, you cannot directly take BAC and divide it with CPI and SPI. You can't do that. Okay, you have to separately do this. Okay, because AC, when you say actual cost, the actual cost is not considering schedule performance index in the first area, right? So only for the second area you're considering, right? So don't worry about, you cannot do it as an overall BAC divided by CPI and SPI in this case. Okay, so can you calculate for the same problem? For the same problem, can you calculate ETC using SPI also? So find SPI also, and then let me know, please, as early as possible, please. We have two more calculations. Got it? What is the SPI for this problem? SPI is equal to EV by PV. So EV was how much? 750 divided by PV was 1000. Correct? So can you give me SPI, Hassan? Okay, so it was BAC minus EV, which is how much was BAC minus EV? 1500 minus 750, no? How much was that? 750, no? Yeah. So 1500 minus 750 divided by 0.9375, which is your CPI, into 0.75. So this was equal to how much? 1066, right? So if you uh, look here, like if you only consider your cost in dice, okay, if you only consider your cost performance, you can finish the rest of the work in 800. Okay, you can finish the rest of your work in 800. But if you continue to have the same schedule variance, then you will have more variance, then you will have more, because your time is also extending, more time, more money, right? So if you're extending your time also for the rest of the work, then you would end up at what? 1066. Correct? Can you tell me what is this value? EAC value? EAC is already have spent 800 plus 1066. Is that right? I was just checking whether what will come if I directly do it. Okay. So if you directly do, you're not getting this number, right? BSc by directly, if you multiply it with, for example, if I do, how much is 0.9375 into 0.75? How much is that? 0.73125, right? 0.703125. If you multiply this two, you'll get what? 0.703125, correct? So if you directly divide 1500 divided by 0.703125, so you get more than 2000, correct? So that is not, as we already said, that you cannot directly uh, divide the BAC by CPI into SPI. We can't do that, okay, for this one. All right, so this is the second scenario. Okay, for the rest of the work, if the schedule variance continue to happen, then you would end up at another 66 dollars extra. Okay, not another 66, more than $266 extra. Okay, so that's the second scenario. Are we okay? Shall I move on to the third scenario? Third scenario. Shall I move on to third scenario? Everyone, is everyone fine? Okay. Third scenario is a optimistic scenario. Okay, so you think positive. You think that, see, so far I have got some schedule variance, some cost variance. Okay, I would have performed poor in terms of cost or in terms of schedule, right? But I would correct the performance. Correct in the sense, I would not have a cost variance for the rest of the work. Okay, so that's your thinking. Okay, so if you think that for the rest of your work you will not have a cost variance, you will not have a schedule variance. Okay, so in other words, rest of the work rest of the work goes as per plan. Goes as per plan. This is the third scenario. Okay, now let me see. Can you find the formula? Can you find the formula? It's very easy. Can you find the formula for this? In this case, what is the formula for ETC? I'll give you some 2 minutes time. BAC minus EV is equal to ETC. Yes, that's right, Hassan. Okay, so because what is our assumption? We assume that for the rest of the work I'll not have any variance. Okay, which means the rest of the work will be done in the value which you have already budgeted. Okay, so the budgeted cost for the remaining work will be the same. Okay, will be the same. That's your assumption. So what is the budgeted cost for the remaining work? We already know what is the value of remaining work. Remaining work is equal to BAC minus EV, right? So that remains to be same, right? So this is the formula. So what is the formula for EAC? What is the formula for EAC when you think that there wouldn't be any what variance for the rest of the work? It will be, just add your already money spent, which is AC. For the rest of the work, it will be BAC minus EV. Okay. So this is your formula for rest of the work goes on as per plan. Can you find it out for the above problem? For this one, okay. For the 50% of the work, for the rest of the work, you will do the work only with the as per the plan. Then what would be your ETC and EAC? Can you find it out? Others? A fish? Hassan says 750. Okay. Others? Would you agree with Hassan or you get another number? Let me know. Correct, right? So for 50% of the work, actually we have spent 800. But for the 50 rest of the 50 percentage, I say I'll go as per the plan. So for 50 percentage of the, if for the total work 1500, and for 50 percentage, how much we should spend? 750, right? So if you calculate it, you will get the same, right? So what is your BAC? 1500. What is your EV? 750. So it will be 750, correct? Right? So but you have already spent how much? 800. 800 you have already spent. There was a cost overrun, right? But for the rest of the work, for this work, okay, you are going to spend, you have a positive thinking, like, no, I'll not go for any variance. I'll complete it as per my, the planned budget, okay? So you'll get what? 1550. You get it? So so that's the meaning of it. All right, so this is the third scenario. Okay, so what is the fourth scenario, which is a very easy scenario? Okay, if you have any doubt, let me know. Okay, the fourth scenario is, the fourth scenario is mm, like fundamentally flaw. Fundamentally flaw, which means, you think that there is something wrong with the estimate. Okay, you have got a shoot up, you have got a variance, because there is something wrong about the estimate. Okay, so what are you going to do? You're going to re-estimate for the rest of the work. You're going to re-estimate for the rest of the work. In other words, your ETC is recalculated. Okay, you're going to recalculate your ETC. So how are you going to recalculate your ETC? Which means you're again going to break down the work into small pieces, and then you're going to do a bottom-up calculation. Okay, so in other words, you're going to do a bottom-up ETC. You're going to again calculate the ETC. Okay, so in this case, what will be your EAC? EAC is equal to AC plus bottom-up ETC. Okay, so you're going to again calculate it. Okay, EAC is equal to AC plus bottom up ETC. Okay, so in your examination, directly they will give you this ETC. So you have to just add it with AC. That's all. Okay, so bottom up ETC. Fine. So that's your fourth scenario, which is nothing but you're recalculating it. Okay, so you cannot extrapolate. You cannot go as per your original plan. So you do the recalculation for the rest of the work. Okay, so that's all about the fourth scenario, right? So these are the various ways of calculating EAC and ETC. Okay, so in your examination, first read the question and find whether they are asking for EAC or ETC. If at all they are talking about estimate, then look, because they may not directly tell you ETC, EAC, right? So they will tell you in words. Okay, so from the words you have to understand whether they are talking about EAC or ETC, and then again through this like scenario, you understand what assumption that they are talking about. Are they talking about you know um, going in the same rate, or they are talking about going in a whatever, going in a uh, as per the original plan. Okay, so accordingly you have to apply your answer. Okay, is it allowed to use calculator in exam? Of course, Hassan, you cannot take a calculator and go. So in the what do you call it, in the interface itself there is a calculator. Okay, so you just click that button, you will have the calculator which resembles like a Windows calculator. Okay, so practice with your Windows calculator. Okay, fine. All right, let me give you a small scenario. Although this is not given in your PMBOK guide, you may get question like this. Okay, what could be another scenario? For example, look at it. I'm not going to give you anything. As a formula or anything. Okay, in your examination they say that, okay, you have got some actual cost. Listen to me, all of you. you have got some actual cost. So you have already completed some percentage of work. In our example, we have completed already how much of work? 50% of the work we have already completed, correct? So so some work is already completed, and your actual cost for that work was some money. Like in our example, it was 800, right? Fine. Now they may tell you that for the rest of the work, you will neither go on your present CPI, nor you will go on your original budget. You assume a new CPI. Okay? What do you do? You assume a new CPI. Then what would be the case? Let's say they say that your new CPI is zero point 0.8. Your new CPI is 0.8. Then what would be the formula? Do you get the question? Okay, let me repeat the question. The question is, you have got some actual cost already. Okay, look at this problem. Okay, so you are on the second day. Okay, 50% of the work is over. Your actual cost is 800. Okay, and in the question they tell you that for the new work, for the rest of the work, for the rest of the work, for the rest of the work, you'll go at a CPI of, for rest of the work, you go at a CPI of 0.8. Okay. In this case, what is your ETC and what is your EAC? How do you calculate? You can open your mic and talk. Do you all get it? Do you all get it? You want me to repeat it or you want me to do it? Let me know. Hassan, you don't have to calculate new EV. That's not required. See, can anybody else answer? Abhijit, could you answer? I know time is running, but we have just one calculation. Once we finish this, then I'll send you the problems. You can work on the problems. Then tomorrow evening I can have a discussion on those problems. Okay, just one more calculation is remaining. Nobody? See, the question was, you already have some performance, some actual cost, right? So in the originally, what did you do in this problem? Like you calculated the CPI, and the CPI was 9375, right? So you divided it with that CPI. Okay, for the rest of the work also, what is BAC minus EV? This is your rest of the work, remaining work, right? For the remaining work also, you used the same CPI, right? But now in the question they say that for the rest of the work you will not follow 0.9375, you will follow some new CPI, zero point 0.8, right? Now what you have to do, it is very simple. So instead of 0.9375, you have to just use 0.8, that's all. You get it? You will use only 0.8. You get it? All right. Anyway, I'll give you problems. Okay. Now let me do the last calculation, and I'll send you the one. Okay. The last calculation is TCPI. Okay. TCPI. What do you mean by TCPI? TCPI means to complete performance index. To complete performance index. Okay. So what is the meaning of this? For example, what do you mean by to complete performance index? What is CPI? CPI is cost performance index. Okay, here it is to complete performance index. So this is like how much in what rate you have to go. This is like a forecast. Okay, this is like a number that you are assuming. Okay, so what rate you have to go in order to complete the work in the given budget. Okay, what rate you have to go in order to complete the work in the given budget. Okay, for example, look at this problem. In this problem, what did you do? What is your present CPI? 0.9375, which means less than 1. Okay, which means you have got a cost negative variance, right? So because of that, you have got less than 1, 0.9375, which means you did not perform as per the plan, correct? Okay. Now, you if you go in the present rate, what happens? You are finishing instead of finishing it in $1,500, you are finishing it in how much? 1,600, correct? So you go and ask your sponsor that, sir, on the second day of work, I understand that I have spent $800. Okay, I should have spent only $750, but I have spent how much? $800. Okay, so if I go in the same rate, I can complete only in $1,600. Okay, so please uh, give me another $100. Okay, instead of 1,500, give me another $100. This is what you're asking your sponsor. Your sponsor says, no, we cannot give you more budget. uh, what you have to do, I don't know, whatever you do. Okay, you somehow try to manage your cost, and you somehow finish it in 1,500 only. Okay, so this is his answer. He is not ready to give you more budget. All right, so what he says, he tells you, do the rest of the work in the remaining fund. This is what he tells you. Okay, so if you have to do the rest of the work in the remaining fund, okay, remaining work should be done in the remaining fund. He is not going to give you extra fund. Okay, so in order to do the rest of the work in the remaining fund, in what rate you have to go? Okay, in what rate you have to go? In other words, what is your proposed CPI? What is your proposed CPI in order to finish your work in the given budget? No extra money. Okay, so that rate is called as TCPI. Okay, so TCPI is easy to calculate. TCPI is nothing but finish the remaining work in the remaining fund. That's the that is the that is the that's the that's the meaning, right? So what is remaining work? Formula for remaining work, we already know. It is BAC minus EV. This is your remaining work. So what is your remaining fund? We already know. BAC minus AC. Okay, so this is your remaining work and this is your remaining fund. You get it? So this is the formula for TCPI. So if your present CPI is less than 0.9, less than 1, so definitely your TCPI will be more than 1, correct? Because you have not gone as per the plan early. So now you have to go more than your plan. In the sense, you have to perform better than your plan. That's the meaning, correct? So if your present CPI is less than 1, definitely your TCPI will be more than 1. You get it? So this is called as TCPI. Okay, TCPI, for people who knows cricket, if CPI is your present run rate, then your TCPI is your required run rate. Understand? If CPI is your present run rate, then what is your TCPI? TCPI is your required run rate. So how do you find out your required run rate? Required run rate is equal to remaining runs divided by remaining balls. Correct? Remaining runs by remaining balls. So remaining run is nothing but remaining work. Remaining fund is nothing but remaining ball. Correct? So that's TCPI. You get it? There's one more alternative calculation for TCPI. So sometimes the sponsor says, okay, fine, I'll give you little more money. Okay, I'll give you little more money. Okay, so that new money that he is telling, so he says that okay, no worries, no need of finishing it in the original budget. Okay, I'll give you little more money. Okay, then your TCPI will become little more different. Then it will become TCPI is equal to BAC minus EV. Your remaining work remains the same, right? So this is your remaining work. This remains the same, but the fund alone increases, right? So what is your new fund? New fund is your EAC. EAC is your new fund. In this already you have spent some money, okay? So actual cost. So this is something like a new thing, okay? If you don't understand, no worries. I mean, this one, if you don't understand, I'll explain it in the next class also. But this is for new fund, okay? If you have to finish your, what is the rate required if at all some new fund is given, okay? So your new fund is EAC minus AC. You get that point? Okay. So this is EVA. We are done with all the calculations of EVA. So today I will send you this EVA, at least six, 7 problems I'll give you. Okay, some simple problems, some moderate problems, and some tough problems. Okay, so you work it out, and tomorrow evening we can meet. Correct? For tomorrow 7:30 is fine, right? I mean, whoever can attend. Tomorrow 7:30, is it fine? So I'll do the CPM problems, chapter 1 and 2, and then the EVA problems, which I'm giving it today, if possible. And that's it. I'll give you a test on chapter 1, 2, 3 again. 1, 2, 3 together. Okay, little bit questions. I'll give you maybe during the week. Sometime during the week I'll send you. Okay. Is it okay? Don't worry if you don't understand everything. Okay, if you understand some concepts, it's fine. Only by practicing by heart the formulas. Okay, you will know the logic. That's okay. Okay, but you have to by heart the formula also. So put all the formula in one. Anyway, I'll be sending you the formula as one sheet, but still now itself you do. Okay, before I send you the teaching notes and everything, you prepare your own formula sheet for EVA completely and by heart them, because remembering is the first step towards understanding. Okay, you remember, then you do calculations, and then you understand. Okay, so don't worry about it, don't panic. If some people who have not understood, I think some would have already understood everything, but some, like, if you get some hitches, don't worry. Okay, so you can anytime, while you're preparing, you can anytime ask me doubt whenever you have some, like, you are blocked somewhere. Okay, and you want to help, I'm there to help. Okay, all right guys, so this video I'm sending it to you, okay, so that you can see it again and again.